How many times have you said to yourself, this is the year my life will turn around? And after a while of failing to build momentum, you just find yourself in the same place doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. It's fine. This has been me for a very, very long while. And I know the longer the time passes and the more you fail, you keep losing faith in yourself that you could achieve something. But what if you could thrive? What if you could start with a small thing and then build momentum that will help you stir in the right direction in order to achieve everything you ever wanted in your life? No, this isn't a gimmicky thing for a self-help book. This is my life. I spent most of my 20s and my late teens experimenting with different hobbies and things. I started the path of entrepreneurship in my early 20s, which made me realize the importance of failure, but also when to give up and when to restart. You could say I spent a good decade failing. After every failure, I tried to get up every time and perfect my system. Let's start with lesson number 1. Before I talk about my system, you need to know where I came from. Firstly, I was framing my goals like become a successful entrepreneur, make the most money I ever did so far. Then, with time, my goals got more practical. Wake up at 7 a.m., read every day. Now my goals sound like relaunch the Raw Scientist YouTube channel in the first week of March. Make a 10-minute weekly review each Sunday at 10 a.m. If we take a minute to analyze the framing system, you can see that in time I made a special formula. Achievable goal plus optional place plus time. The more unrealistic your goal it is, the harder it is to achieve it. So basically, you need to learn how to frame that goal. But what happens if you have a very, very big goal and you cannot put your hands on it on how to tackle it? Let's take one of my, let's say, bigger goals. Relaunch the YouTube channel in the first week of March. Knowing myself and knowing how I failed in the past to upkeep a constant posting schedule, I realized I need to get on track and make a plan. So basically, I made myself a plan that I'm going to follow the whole year. So this is what it looks like. Okay, so I wrote a template where I can find a checklist with deadlines for the YouTube channel. I use Notion for this, not sponsored, just like it. First, I started with the basics, what needs to be done in order to launch. So, knowing I failed in the past with consistency because I have a startup and life happens, I decided to have 1 month of content in advance in order to upkeep my posting schedule. Then I figured since I'm restarting and the algorithm won't help me, I decided to find some channels for distribution I could use. Also, in order to complete the full circle and maybe help me with collabs in the future or collabs with other people to build a website for my brand. Also, branding is important, so I also did like a checklist here, and it helps me define the style and follow my mission and vision. So we know what we want, we have the goals in order to reach the bigger goal. What now? Well, now you start acting on the goals step by step. I'm not working on all goals at the same time, but I'm working on the key goals that make me go further, which is preparing videos for the launch, and the others are second priorities. So on a weekly basis, I sit down with myself and see how much progress I did the week. Some weeks are easier, some weeks are not, but I review what I did and how the week went. What's important for me is to stick to my main goal, which is 1 video a week. So if we could go back here to my template here, I have a section, what could go wrong? When you put everything on paper, everything looks amazing, but in reality, a lot of things could happen. In my case, after setting the goal, I asked myself what could go wrong. And I came up with a list and problems with solutions. So I said life will get so busy that I would get sucked into other things, and yes, it happens. So I would be putting my time management skills in order to delegate and make time, because YouTube is a priority for me. Editing takes too much time out of my creative process for writing. I am very, let's say, in my opinion, decent at writing. It's one of the things that fulfills me. So in order to avoid not getting distracted or annoyed by editing, I hired some help. Thank you, Raul, who is currently editing this. I ran out of ideas. So in order to not run out of ideas, I have notes on my phone that I pull out every time I have an idea and write it down. So when I'm out of ideas, I go there. I get into imposter syndrome mindset. This has been huge for me in the past, so I promised I would talk to my partner, friends, or other people from the industry to help me overcome the, let's say, low moments. And the last one is a typical one for a content creator, which is I get burned out. And in order not to do that, what I've learned is that I need to prioritize rest and play every week, even if it might seem impossible with a startup. So basically this is like a second business. And the idea is to do more things that I like rather than the things that I dislike. So I will try to delegate or find solutions regarding that. The human mind is programmed to find shelter and protect itself rather than to be motivated by the prospect of imagined success. So every time I set a goal, it's important for me to also see what could go wrong and what could I do around the subject. This kind of approach has been very useful in business as well. Now that you've learned about framing, setting the goal, breaking the goal into smaller steps, and then making a plan for it, now it's time for the, let's say, almost last step. Putting things into action. Me launching my YouTube channel and you basically seeing this, it's basically a proof that my system works. So this video is not made in order only for you to show some gimmicky setup, but also to show you what I've been through, what helps me, and what helped me relaunch the YouTube channel. But what happens if you get lost on the road to achieve your goal? If you fail, you can always go back to lesson number 4 and restart from there. What went wrong? If not, maybe somewhere around the road you realize the goal wasn't for you. For instance, let's say you would like to attend a bodybuilding contest. You change your diet, you work out, you learn a lot of things about the competition and nutrition, and in the middle of the road you realize that it was not for you, that bodybuilding is not for you, but that you love working out and you wanna increase that rhythm that you go to the gym, maybe go 3 times a week instead of 2. So right now you basically need to reframe your goal. Sometimes you find out that the goal is not for you. Maybe it's something that it's not in your interest anymore. Or other times, sometimes life gets in the way. What's important for you is to reassess and keep up that weekly check-in and then start again. That's it for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment and thumbs up because it helps with the algorithm. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this from me. I post a video every week, so be sure to check in. I also send out a weekly newsletter where I talk about business, self-development, and personal improvement. I also talk about my failures, things that I like and such. And you can follow me on Instagram, on TikTok, and don't forget to check my last video where I talked about how I failed to take care of myself basically and gain some weight during quarantine and how that impacted me. So I'll see you the next time.